Throughout the natural world, one truth continues to appear again and again. The loss of sexual energy seems to drain life itself. When scientists study animals, they repeatedly find that excessive sexual activity or the loss of reproductive fluids leads to physical decline and even shorter lifespans. This phenomenon isn't just an ancient myth or superstition. It's been observed and documented across species, from fish to mammals, and even reflected in human history. Let's start with one of nature's most striking examples, the salmon. After years of building strength and endurance in the open ocean, the salmon returns to its birthplace to mate. But what happens after that? It dies. Scientists have linked this to extreme muscular degeneration caused by the intense burst of sexual activity during spawning. In essence, the salmon gives its entire life force to the act of reproduction. Its energy, vitality, and physical body are completely spent in the creation of new life. The same principle has been observed in laboratory animals as well. In controlled studies with mice, researchers found that those who abstained from sexual activity lived longer, healthier lives compared to their more active counterparts. The difference was not small, it was significant. The sexually restrained mice displayed greater vitality, sharper senses, and slower aging. It was as if their life force was conserved rather than scattered. And this isn't just an animal phenomenon. Human history offers its own examples that seem to mirror this truth. In many ancient societies, castrated men, known as eunuchs, were often employed in royal courts. While their role was unique, what's fascinating is that historical records consistently show eunuchs lived longer on average than non-castrated men. In fact, one large-scale study examining records from the Korean royal court found that eunuchs lived up to 14 to 19 years longer than typical men of their time. This raises a deep and uncomfortable question. Is there a direct link between the loss of semen, the very fluid responsible for creating life, and the decline of vitality or lifespan in men? As far back as the 18th century, leading physicians had already begun to notice a disturbing pattern. In 1760, Samuel August Tissot, one of the most respected medical practitioners of his era, a man personally praised by Napoleon himself, published a groundbreaking study. After years of observing his patients, he concluded that many degenerative and wasting diseases were strongly connected to excessive sexual activity and masturbation. Tissot and his colleagues described their findings in powerful terms. They observed that those who habitually released their sexual energy suffered not only physical weakness, but also mental dullness. They became pale, anxious, and drained. Their bodies lost strength, their posture weakened, their motivation vanished, and even their capacity to think clearly seemed to fade. These individuals, they wrote, became pale, idle, effeminate, weak, and void of understanding. Tissot went further, describing how excessive loss of semen led to conditions such as paralysis, nervous exhaustion, convulsions, and even pain in the membranes of the brain. He noted that many of his patients suffered from impaired senses, particularly their eyesight, and from an overall withering of the body and mind. To him, semen loss was not just a symptom of overindulgence, it was a direct cause of degeneration. Now, modern science might not phrase it in such moralistic or dramatic terms, but the underlying truth remains hard to ignore. Semen is not an ordinary fluid. It's a highly concentrated essence of life. Within each drop lies a complex mixture of proteins, enzymes, amino acids, hormones, minerals like zinc and phosphorus, and even neurotransmitters that mirror the chemistry of the brain and nervous system. It's as if semen is a reflection of the body's entire energetic and biological vitality, condensed into one potent form. When we lose this fluid excessively or without awareness, we're not merely expelling something physical, we're releasing a concentrated expression of our creative life force, the very energy that could have been used for healing, focus, strength, and longevity. Think about it from a biological standpoint. The male body goes to extraordinary lengths to produce semen. It draws nutrients from the blood, the nervous system, and even the brain. It requires energy, minerals, and hormonal balance. The body treats this substance as sacred because biologically it is. It holds the blueprint of life. So when a man frequently releases this energy without purpose, the body is forced to rebuild what was lost. Nutrients are redirected, hormones shift, and over time, this constant depletion can lead to fatigue, weakness, and loss of mental clarity. It's no coincidence that many ancient traditions, from Taoism to Ayurveda, warned about the spiritual and physical costs of uncontrolled sexual indulgence. In Taoist philosophy, semen is known as Jing, the essence of life. It is believed to be the foundation of health, longevity, and spiritual power. Preserving it, refining it, and circulating it through the body was seen as the key to vitality and even enlightenment. The more one conserved and mastered this energy, the stronger, calmer, and more focused they became. On the other hand, constant release of Jing was said to shorten life, weaken the spirit, and cloud the mind. Now, modern science is now beginning to validate parts of these ancient insights. Studies have shown that abstinence, when practiced consciously, can increase testosterone levels, enhance focus, and improve mood and motivation. Many men who practice semen retention report sharper concentration, deeper sleep, greater energy, and a more magnetic presence. Of course, this doesn't mean one must live in complete celibacy to be healthy. The point isn't repression, it's awareness. The real lesson here is understanding that sexual energy is powerful, and how you use it determines whether it nourishes you or drains you. When a man learns to control this energy, to channel it into his work, his purpose, his growth, he becomes stronger. His presence deepens, his eyes become brighter, his life force radiates from within. But when he wastes it without thought, chasing empty pleasure, he begins to feel the slow decline of vitality. Perhaps this is the deeper meaning behind the observation that semen loss may shorten life. It's not just about biology, it's about energy, awareness, and how we direct our life force. The same power that can create life can also sustain it if we learn how to respect and master it. So the question isn't just, does semen loss decrease lifespan? The real question is, how much of your life force are you willing to give away unconsciously? Because the answer lies not in the fluid itself, but in the energy, awareness, and discipline behind it. When you learn to protect and channel that energy, you stop leaking your life away, and instead you begin to truly live.